Who do you know who is a great person? Maybe you think your mum's a great mum, or maybe your dad's a great dad. What is it that makes them great, do you think? Hello everyone, I'm Kathleen Pelly. Welcome to another special bonus episode of Journey with Story. As I explained last week, I record all of my Journey with Story episodes many weeks in advance. But with all that is going on now in the world and so many of us all stuck at home, my wonderful audio editor and I decided this will be a good time to make a couple of special bonus episodes for all of our listeners. After all, good stories can feed our hearts and make us feel a little braver or bolder, kinder or calmer. Today's tale is another original story of mine I wrote a while ago, and it's all about a young lion who discovers where his own greatness lies, and also what makes his father, the king of all the animals, so great. Now, when I've finished, maybe you can tell me what this story's souvenir is. Remember, last week we talked about how great stories, although they are not actually true and did not really happen, can be true in a kind of a way about what it means to be a person in this world. And that is what you remember about them. That is their souvenir. Oh, and this episode is dedicated to some lovely girls and a boy in Scotland who are all stuck at home just as I am. This is for Leo, Lilia, Evie Rose and Alina. Let's take a journey with Little Great Line. Young Line roared, a rich golden roar that rumbled across the plains of Africa, slicing through the stillness the way a strong wind flattens tall grass. The other cubs gathered round him. From a high ridge, Young Line spoke. "Tonight I will join the hunt," he said. The cubs pressed closer and hurled their questions. "So soon? Are you sure? Will you be ready?" Young Line puffed out his chest and glared. "Do you not know that I can stalk and pounce and leap better than any of you? That is why Mother has chosen me to be the first to join in the hunt." Another noisy rebel rang out. "You will need to follow closely. You will need to mind well. You will need to be alert." Young Line stiffened. He growled low and deep. "Am I not the son of Great Line, your king and leader?" he said. "I know how to hunt all by myself. I need none of you." Just then Young Line caught sight of his father, who had joined the cubs below. His paw slipped on a loose rock. Slithering and sliding, he tumbled from his ledge and landed in a tangled heap in front of his father. When his father spoke, Young Line heard the thunder in his voice. "Come with me now, son." "But father, the hunt will begin soon and—" "Silence! You're not ready to join in the hunt. Follow me." With head drooping and belly slung low to the ground, Young Line followed in his father's footsteps. Slow and sleek, like the ripple of silk, they glided through the tall grass. For a long time, the only sound to stir the silence was the swish of a tail or the snap of a twig. At the foot of a hillside, Young Line caught the faint whiff of water. His ears stiffened at the sound of a distant rumble. Higher and higher they climbed. "Father, father!" Young Line cried. "There must be other lions nearby, hundreds of them. Don't you hear them?" "Don't worry," said Great Line. "That is not the sound of lions you hear. It is something else. Look." Young Line edged forward. Down below he saw his thunder. Clouds of silver smoke billowed over a roaring torrent of water that crashed down into a ravine. "Is there fire in that water, father?" "No, but long ago the people once called this the thunder that smokes, and now they call it waterfall." Young Line took another step closer. The thunder bellowed and boomed. Sunlight splashed into the whirling ribbons of water and danced there in a shower of rainbow ripples. "Is that not a great sight, my son?" "Yes, father, it is." "And do you know where its greatness lies, my son?" Young Line shook his head. Great Lion walked over to a sugar bush tree and pushed down one of the water-speckled leaves. He scooped up the drops of water onto his tongue, and he licked Young Lion behind his ears, kneading and pressing the fur with his warm, wet tongue. Finally, he spoke again. "Its greatness lies in one single drop of water," he said. "One drop of water after another makes this great waterfall." Young Lion held those words in the place where his greatness grew, and once more he followed in his father's footsteps. Night swooshed down in a cool, dark hush. Below them, Young Lion saw a fire blazing outside a cluster of huts. The flames leapt and danced in a dazzling blur of scarlet and purple and gold. The sparks sizzled and snapped and sprayed, and Young Lion felt the hot breath swelling into the night. "Is that not a great sight, my son?" asked Great Lion. "Yes, father, it is." "And do you know where its greatness lies?" "Tell me, father," whispered Young Lion. Great Lion pressed his massive paw upon a slender stick, splintering it into pieces. "Its greatness lies in one single stick such as this," he said. "One stick heaped upon another makes this great fire." Young Lion held those words in the place where his greatness grew, and he followed in the footsteps of his father. When they came to the mouth of a cave, they rested, and the father told his son a story. It was the story of how Young Lion's grandfather had once escaped from fierce hunters who followed him, carrying gigantic fingers of steel, with mouths that roared red like 1,000 lions, and eyes that spat hard silver hornets that tore hot holes through fur and flesh. "Is that not a great story, my son?" asked Great Lion. "Yes, father," said Young Lion, "it is." "Do you know where its greatness lies, my son?" "Tell me, father," begged Young Lion. "In one single word. One single word after another makes this great story." Young Lion held those words in the place where his greatness grew. For a long time he lay there beneath the sky and the moon and the stars. At last he said, "But father, you are Great Lion, the greatest of all the beasts. What do you need to be great?" And the answer floated through the night, soft and slow, like a leaf falling from a tree. "You, my son, I need you." Young Lion felt a swelling now in the place where his greatness grew. For a long time he basked in those words that warmed him like a patch of sunlight. And finally he spoke, using a word that he had not used since he was a very small cub. "Papa," he said. "Yes, my son." "I need you too. I need you to be me." Great Lion sighed, a deep, low sigh that rumbled through the earth with a mighty shudder. Now you're ready to join the hunt, little Great Lion," he said. Then the father and the son rolled over on their sides, tail to ear, paw to whisker, and mane to belly. Beneath the sky and the moon and the stars, they slept, linked together, like letters in a word, like words in a story. A great story about to be told. So, what do you think this story's souvenir is? What is its truth about what it means to be human and live in this world? Yes, that's it. I'm sure some of you got it. Its souvenir is we all need one another to be our best selves. We are all linked to one another, like letters in a word, like words in a story. Together, we can do great things. And right now, when lots of us are feeling a bit discombobulated, remember that word? It's good to remember that we are connected to one another and that we can all help to cheer each other up. You don't need to be grown up to spread cheer and kindness. Your mums and dads need you. Isn't that good to know? Now, can you go and grab a grown-up to listen to some ideas I have for you all to keep busy? Hello, grown-ups. While so many of our children are stuck at home right now, I thought you might want to know I have a lot of activity guides on my website that you can easily download and use with your little ones. Go to www.kathleenpelly.com, click on Educators, and then scroll down to the activity guides. 2 guides that will complement today's episode very well are: 1. The activity guide for the book Mole Music, written by David McPhail, which you can listen to on my website, and its theme is one of hope, that we can all use our particular kind of music, be it playing the violin, dancing, singing, storytelling, art, or just a cheerful disposition, to melt away people's fears and sadnesses. Number 2, the activity guide for the book The Name of the Tree by Celia Lottridge, an African folktale. You can hear me read that book also on my website, or you can listen to a slightly different version, The Magic Tree, which is on my podcast. Its theme of wisdom is very fitting for our world today and would work well with today's story with its theme of greatness and interconnectedness. One of its activities is to make a wisdom wall with your kids. Collect pictures of great people, family members, grandparents, uncles, teachers, or leaders like Mandela, Martin Luther King, or Mother Teresa, and display them on a wall along with their particular words of wisdom to live by. Okay, girls and boys, that's it from me. Remember last week I gave you words of wisdom from my favourite great poet. All will be well, all will be well, and all manner of things will be well. Cheerio then. Join me next time for Journey with Story.